Hey, everybody, and welcome to another week of Crunching Your Growth. And I have to tell you, I don't usually bring on other marketers just because we don't like to get into debates about marketing and what people are doing. But this guy you're going to love. First of all, he's focused on a totally different market segment than I am. Um, his name is Chaminda Tennakoon. But what I love about this guy, and when you listen to him, he's amazing. He wrote a book called The Montrepreneur. This is a man who was studying to be a monk, and he's taken those principles of Buddhism, and he's incorporated it into his business and to his life. And so not only does he have a marketing business and some other businesses where they develop sites and do different things, which he can talk about, but he also gives back. He educates people. For every new client they take on, they pay for somebody's education, which is phenomenal, right? None of us, everybody says we want to do great things to help out our society, but how many of us really put that much effort into it? So whenever I hear somebody doing something like that, I get inspired and I try and emulate it. But he focuses on, and a lot of you are coaches and independent people who want to market. And so I think you'll learn a lot from him versus what we do, which is focus on brands. So I think it's going to be a great conversation, but I'm totally fixated on the fact that he was going to be a monk. I just think that that's phenomenal. So let's bring him in and let's hear his story. He's an interesting guy. Chaminda, thank you for taking the time. He's in the UK, by the way, so there's a little bit of a time difference, but thank you for taking the time and coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it's an honor to be here as well, Phil. Thank you for inviting me, first of all.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's always, I love talking to people, and I love talking to people with different backgrounds and different interests. And, I love spiritual people, and just the whole, I'm just fascinated by the fact that you were studying to be a monk and now you're a marketer.
Yeah, if you want me to, tell a little bit about that. So, when I was a kid, me and my mom used to look for we were doing research on Buddhism, like Buddhist philosophy. So whenever we met a new monk or a different kind of way of Buddhism, if you like, then my mom would come to me and share the idea with me. So I grew up like that. And one day, uh, as I was listening to their sermons or preachings, it was all similar. It was to do with the day to day life and how to be happy and things like that, which is simple, right? That's what I thought anyway. And all of a sudden, there was something different. All of this particular monk was talking about something totally different, and I was shocked, and I was like, what the hell am I doing here? What was I doing? What was I listening to? And this is the real Buddhism. And then within 2 months, I went back to Sri Lanka to see this monk. I think I remember I took about 15 kilograms of fruits from the UK to see this monk. It was very hard to see the monk because it was like 1,500 people coming to see this monk every Saturday. The monk was only available to see people on Saturdays. There was a preaching. And then I managed to go and speak to him because someone said he came all the way from the UK to see the monk. So I was very, very happy that I got that opportunity. Anyway, going back, so it was kind of different to what everyone else was saying. So that changed my whole perspective, and I was like, "This is it. What's the point in doing everything?" And then I was trying to become a monk, but then I thought, okay. Have I got rid of all the delusions and the hatreds and the greed and everything? No, I'm not enlightened yet. So until I get to that kind of state, it's no point becoming a monk and trying to do those things. I thought I'll just try to master a little bit more, and then when I'm at that stage, that's when I'm gonna become a monk. So until then, I thought, okay, I'll change everything, and but do give back more, and you know, I become successful so that I can help others that way. So yeah, that changed a lot of things in my life.
That's that's great. So you were explaining to me that your the different parts to your business. So if you could explain that, I would appreciate it. And then talk about the part where you do give back and how that works.
So I was born in Sri Lanka to a poor family, and my parents were divorced when I was 7 years old, and my mum went through a big struggle to bring me up. Luckily, I went to a good school, an English school where I could learn English. That was what helped me get here. So I had this in my mind because I had a lot of help from other people around me. So if I didn't get this help, I wouldn't be here. So I have to give back. I have to help these kids who have a desire to get to a certain level in life. I need to give back. So that was in the back of my mind. So what we do now is I have four companies under my parent company, which is Chaminda Tennakoon Limited. So we have the marketing company, which is an organic marketing company. We have the a web development company. We have a training company, and then we have like a charity organization which is to provide education needs for kids in Sri Lanka. So for every client, we call it one client, one child program where we sponsor a kid for every new client we get. So that's what we do.
Do you do you promote that to your clients? So in other words, if if you have a prospective client and you're talking to them about what you do you tell them that every client we take on, we educate a child?
I have been debating about it, and if the client talks anything about giving back or anything to do with charity or philanthropy, then I would mention it. But I haven't been using it as a marketing technique, if you like. So, what I would do is I would get the client on board. And as soon as I get the client on board, I send them a thank you letter. On the thank you letter, I just sent two today, actually. I posted them today. It's a physical letter printed with a picture of the child that we managed to sponsor because of the client, and some details about the child, saying this child has an ambition to become I don't know, engineer, doctor, whatever it is, or a business person, CEO, and this is what he has been gone through. So I read one of the letters this morning. uh, this child has lost both his parents
Oof.
uh, due to cancer, and he has a big dream, but there's no one to help with the dream. So yeah, things like this. Last year when I went to Sri Lanka, we met some of these kids, and when we give them money, it's probably peanuts for us, like it's probably a coffee for us with a biscuit or something, but for them it's education for a month. So it's a lot, and you can see the tears coming out of their, you know, they're crying in front of you, and it's very emotional. So the more you give, the happier you become. So unless someone gives back, no one's gonna understand that. So when you start giving back, that's when you want to give more and more.
I yeah I it is I think it's very heartwarming and emotional when you do something and you can see the result. We have there's a guy, there's a very famous product in the United States for dogs called greenies, which are with dogs and cats, and it's good for their breath. It's a chewing thing, and it's also good for cleaning their teeth. And the guy who invented it, a guy named Joe Rothley, he's been on the show a couple of times, and he started the business when he was in his 50s, and he wound up running it. It was a hockey stick. It really took off in the United States, and he sold it to Mars, which is a very large company. After about 10 years, so I'm sure he made a tremendous amount of money. But he's not driven by money, and he went on vacation to a one of the South American countries. I can't remember exactly which one, but when he went there, he realized that people who have two pieces of cardboard and a piece of aluminum build a house with that. That's their house. And he just couldn't live with himself like that. So he takes his money and he gets some people together and they go down there and they build houses and they give them to people, real houses. And while he was down there doing this, people one of the problems when you're building a house and you're cutting through like 2x4s and you're building a hole so you can run wires through and plumbing and stuff, you have these bits, and then the hard part is getting the piece of wood out after you drill, right? It gets stuck in the bit. And so this one of the people down there that lived down there that they were building houses for came up with this idea on how to do it better. And so he created that product, and they sell it in like the Home Depots and the Lowe's around the world, and he puts even more money back. So he's not driven by money for himself. He's driven by money the more he gives back. And what he realized is the impact that he's having. And um, we choose in our group to really focus on the area that we live in, because there's so many problems in that we can touch and look and see. But you're 100% right. When you can make an impact with somebody, the appreciation just, it's heartwarming and it makes you feel phenomenal. So I can understand how you feel. But I think it's important that you let the client know that their money is not just going to buying you a new car, but to doing something else, right? Which is, I think it's great.
No, I totally understand. I had a couple of conversations lately, and one of the clients actually, when they came to me, uh, that's what he said. He said, "You have to market this, and I'm going to get you some people because of this." And because the more clients you get, the more people you can help. So why not market it? So I was thinking, yeah, why not do this? I just missed one thing. Actually, when we met these kids last year, I took my team with me to see these kids. So the managers went there, and after we had this gathering, if you like, the whole atmosphere of the company changed. The everyone was driven with this higher purpose, and they weren't working for money anymore. And we decided, okay, we need to get 100 more kids this year. That's what we decided, and we are on the way there, and we will get to more than 100 easily by the looks of things where we are now. So yeah, no, it changed the whole perspective, the culture of the organization and everything. So yeah, I'm
It's
loving it actually.
That's fantastic. Are you familiar with Steve Ramona? Do you know Steve Ramona?
Yes, Steve Ramono is the one I was talking to you about actually.
Oh,
He is the one who said promote this to you. He is
yeah.
the one who told
Were
me.
you on
Yeah.
his show? Were you
I
on his?
wasn't. No, he. We had a discussion recently. So yeah, he was. He's the one who was like, no, 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 you have to promote this. He introduced me to a lady. I can't remember her name.
Ann Carden? No.
Probably. I'm not sure. Yeah. He introduced a couple of days ago. Actually. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's very
Yeah.
purpose driven, and so he loves that type of thing. And I think he's right. You do have to you do have to promote it, not from the perspective of, hey, look at the good things I'm doing, but hey, look at the good things you're doing by doing business with me. I'm not. It's not just about me buying a new car. It's about what we're doing and having a purpose to drive the business. And yeah, I mean, now all of a sudden your whole culture of your company is focused on purpose driven. So that's great. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. So tell us about the marketing that you. But before that, actually, before we get there, I want to understand the story of why you are the monkrepreneur and your book that you wrote about the monkrepreneur. I have to understand that.
So this is how. Oh, this is what I understand. What I gathered from this, listening to this sermon, if you like it. So all this time it was about how to be happy and all this, how to maintain wealthy life balance, this and that. And then all of a sudden this monk was talking about, because Buddhism is to do with three things, getting rid of three things. So hatred, delusions, and greed, right? So that's what the Buddha preached. So if someone is preaching Buddhism, it has to tally with this. So everything else wasn't really tallying with it. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to gather more and more. So the more we gather, the more sufferings we gather, if you like. So this monk was talking about, okay, one thing on one side is you don't have any control. What we are trying to do on a day-to-day basis is trying to have some control. We are trying to control our kids, control the atmosphere, control the temperature, if you like, control the things around your house. I want the kitchen to be like this, I want my bedroom to be like this to be like this, I want you to be like this. But they don't be like that. So the moment they change or not in line with what we want, then we suffer or we get angry. And that's where the suffering starts on one side. And on the other hand, we are trying to fulfill our the five if you like, the five senses, if you like. So the eyes, nose, mouth, this and that. But we can't really fulfill them. We try to fulfill them with different things. We have been trying throughout the years, throughout our life, but we still want to try and fulfill, which will never happen. So as long as you try to fulfill, you are running, uh, you're trying to find something that you can never do. So you are constantly suffering. So once you understand this, once you get to this understanding, you're not trying to do that anymore. You know this is how it is, and then you adapt accordingly. Once you adapt accordingly, it makes it so much easier. You know, okay, this is how this is, and it's no point trying to change things. But it's and then comes the reason and the effect theory as well. So we can only change the reasons. We can't change the result. We only can change the reasons behind it. Once we change the reasons, the result changes. So all these come into play and they're all connected. So once you understand that, it becomes so much easier to work, and you keep calm, seeing things and not trying to control things that you can't really control. And you are just doing what you can. And that way it keeps you calm. At the same time, it gets you more results because you're not panicking, you're not stressed out, you're just doing what you can. And then that's when the results start coming in. I'm sure you know, you've been there. But yeah, I wasn't successful in business before this, but now some of these clients, I don't know how I convert. I don't even try to convert. I just ask the right questions, and then they're like, "Yeah, I want to get started." And I'm like, "Okay, I didn't even expect it."
That's great. So explain that to us a little bit. What type of clients do you go after, and then what's your approach to helping them?
um, we try to understand. We ask the questions and see if they are the right fit. So we need to find people who are needing our services. As in, what we do is organic marketing. We have a team. So if a client comes to us, what we do is we allocate team members to work with the clients on behalf of the clients. So one of the team members will work on the social media things, so creating content, posting content, sharing content on all the platforms every single day, and reaching out to potential clients, talking about their pain points, providing value, building connections, trust, and then asking the right questions, nurturing a group if they have a group, and then booking calls on behalf of the client. And on the other hand, there will be another person working on the tech side of things, landing pages, websites, email marketing campaigns, and things like that. So that will be on the other side. And there'll be a manager making sure what I promised is taken care of. So I don't have to jump in and check everything. So that's the team working on behalf of the client. They will meet every week or every 2 weeks to make sure things are in order and they're happy with things. And if any changes need to be done, taken care of, plan the next couple of weeks or the next week. On top of that, we have a private WhatsApp group for every client. So the client will have access to me, my wife, the team that's working on the client, so they can send messages anytime, 24/7. They have access to us. So that's built a strong relationship with the client. So that's how we serve. So what we try to do is if their clients or if their ideal clients are on social media, and if they have capacity to handle clients, and if their time is very important and valuable, so that's when we those are our ideal clients. So what we do is we give them their time back, or we sell time, if you like. So they only have to spend a couple of hours per week, and we spend about 100 to 200, depending on what package they go with, on their platforms, making sure they only do the sales call. Apart from that, we do up to booking calls for them, so they don't have to worry about anything apart from some videos. Maybe provide us with some raw videos, and then we'll take care of all the platforms, everything up to booking calls. So yeah, those are my ideal clients. Ideal clients, I would say they have a good offer that works. So they have a couple of clients, but they have more capacity. They're looking for more clients, and their time is very valuable. They're not tech savvy, and they don't like to spend time on social media.
Yeah. A lot of people don't. A lot of people. We we um, we deal with the same thing with brands because in today's world, um, the under 45-year-old doesn't want to buy from a faceless brand like a Procter and Gamble or something like that. They want to have a connection, and so you see some of these young brands that are coming up, and they're attached to a person. There's a person behind that brand, and that person puts out content. But we have a lot of brands, a lot of young brands that where the founder doesn't. They're afraid. They don't want to say, and you say, look, you got a great story here. Just give us the content. We'll take care of it. But you just make the video, and we'll take care of making it look good. But they're afraid to do it, and I think a lot of people are camera shy. A lot of people don't. They feel like I don't want to put myself out there because I don't want to deal with the negative comments on social media or things like that. So it is interesting because people don't. They are a bit camera shy. They are a bit social media shy.
No, 100%. But we all were, right? On the first video, we all messed up, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So you got to start somewhere, and everyone has haters. So yeah, if you are trying to stay away from haters, then it's hard to do business, I guess. Hard to become successful. Full stop.
There's always going to be people. There's always going to be negativity. There's always going to be people that are going to hate something. They're always going to have negative comments, and you just can't let them go. I actually had this conversation last night with somebody who's a musician, and they said, playing jazz or playing music is very similar to what you do every day in life because when you play jazz or when you play music, you make mistakes. Said, I've been playing music since I was 10 years old. He's probably in his 50s now. I've been playing music since I was 10 years old, and I still make mistakes. He said, but nobody knows because I just keep playing. He said, and like jazz, when you watch a jazz player, they always make mistakes, but they just keep moving forward and they just keep doing it. They don't pay attention to the mistakes. And half the time, the audience doesn't even realize that there was a mistake. He said, so he uses that as a metaphor for life. He said, I make mistakes in life, but I just keep playing. I just keep going. And it's the same thing. I'm never worried about mistakes. I make mistakes every single day. I make mistakes I don't care about putting myself out on social media, and I don't care what people say about me. I never have. So it doesn't bother me. I know sometimes I have to temper what I say because I have a tendency of being like, I noticed this about, I have an admin, and when I write emails, like somebody will write me an email and I will respond back, but it's very like, you ask a question and I answer the question, but I don't put any of the, hey, thanks for contacting me or any, I just answer the question. And they point out to me it seems very, like people on the receiving end would take offense to it. I go, why would you take offense to it? You asked me, it's like asking me the temperature and I'll respond back, well, it's 78 degrees out today. They're like, yeah, but you have to put some effort into it. So I don't write my own emails anymore because I just tend to answer. I do the same thing on social media. Somebody will post something, I'll say, well, and it comes off as very, um, I don't know how to put it, but just very affront. Like people think, oh my God, he's being nasty. I was just responding to what the question is, right? So I try not to do my own social media either because I'm not. I shouldn't. I guess the learning is I really shouldn't be around people. But it's
Uh,
it's the truth. But it's fun. Life is fun. Um, but you said something a couple of minutes ago, and now I lost it. I had it in my head, and I wanted to respond to it. But you said something a couple of minutes ago. It'll come back to me. Um, uh, but you had expressed a little while ago about how you got the name, the monk entrepreneur, or that, which I think is an interesting story that people will find.
yeah, sure. So I work with this actress. She was on a Star Trek movie, Luan Lo. So she does one-to-ones for me and my wife, and in return we do her social media marketing for her. In return, so she always calls me, you are the business monk, you're the business monk. So I was like, yeah, yeah, I had this in my mind, and all of a sudden, I don't know whether it was like a dream or wake up in the middle of the night, I thought, okay, this is a good name, I'm going to come up with a business monk name. So I came up with this monk-entrepreneur. And she was so happy to see that name as well. She was like proud. She was like, yes, this is it. And yeah, she's the one who asked me to uh, print it in big letters and put it behind me as well. I didn't have it. I just showed her the book, and you should have it at the back. And that's when I put it behind as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a great name for a book. It definitely, part of the problem when you write a book, or part of the what you're trying to achieve with the book and the book title, is to get people to stop and read, right? Stop and say, "Oh, that's different." And I saw it on the back of your wall, and I thought immediately, I have to look at that book, right? Because I think we're all trying to get to a higher plane. Oh, I remember what you were talking about. You were talking about the acquisition of things. You were talking and how we always want to acquire things. And I can remember I had a friend who just was unfulfilled in their life because all they ever did was shop, and they just kept shopping. Like every weekend they would go shopping and buy things. And I kept saying, how many more clothes do you need? Or how many more cars do you need? I don't understand it. And, they're trying to fill a void of something. And, which I think is interesting that a lot of people do, is the acquisition of things. How many, you read about really wealthy people that have 6 or 7 houses, and I think, what would you need 6 houses for? Like how can you use them all? What are you doing? I mean, I could understand it if it was just a real estate investment. You say, okay, well, that's different. But if you have houses, and I have a house here, and I have a house here, and a house here, how do you go to them? I mean, you just must be constantly going from house to house to house, which would drive me crazy because I love being home. I love my house, and I you know, I don't know why I would need three. So,
Yeah, on that actually, there is these three kind of sufferings with everything that you acquire, if you may. So it's called Sankara Dukkha, Dukkha Dukkha, and Viparinama Dukkha. So the Sankara Dukkha is when you see something and you want it. So the moment you start wanting something or the desire comes to your mind, that from that moment you start worrying, suffering about getting it. For example, you see a new car, now you want the car, now you're looking to buy the car, but you're suffering until you buy the car. You're suffering, you're saving, you're sacrificing your holidays and maybe, I don't know, dinners to save for this car. And then you come to the stage where you buy the car. So now you get the car. So then you get to dukkha dukkha, where you acquired something. Now you have to save, keep it safe. You're scared that you might lose it. So now you are trying to protect it, and you come up with this dukkha dukkha. And then afterwards, you have this viparinama dukkha, where you are thinking about it depreciating. Oh my God, it's gonna depreciate, and everything is like this. So you are acquiring are these three dukkhas effectively. So when you give, you don't have that, right? When you are, but you're gathering so many things, what you're doing is you have 100 things, you have 300 different types of dukkhas for all these dukkha. All these things you have dukkha with it. So you have 100 houses, you have 300 different types of sufferings. So you only have one, you only have three. So that's how that's something that I learned from the monk as well. So it's so many things. So yeah, effectively you are suffering when you have things, but when you give, you're like, you ate something, that's it, right? But imagine you gave that food to someone and you were watching that person fulfilling their hunger. You can be happy tomorrow, but we don't even remember what we ate last night, right?
yeah. No, it's a good way of thinking about life and of thinking about going through because we have this in my house. We have this every birthdays and holidays and Christmas and things where we have five kids and they'll all say, what do you want for Christmas? And I always say I don't want anything. I don't need things. I have enough things. I don't need any more things. I just want the things that make me happiest are just having a lot of people. I'm an Italian, and we always had a lot of people at Christmas and the holidays, and that makes me happy. Cooking for people and getting, and so that's all I ever really want at the holidays. I don't care about that. I don't like to celebrate my birthday. I figure if you don't celebrate them, then you don't have to count them against your age, so you can always be 21 years old. So, but yeah, it's the acquisition of things, I think, sends you down a different path. And I don't think business, I don't do business. I like what I do. I like what I do because I learn something every day. I like what I do because it keeps me stimulated, and I like seeing the results of our decision making. Um, what I don't, but I don't do business just because I want to acquire more money or so I can buy another car. It doesn't. I don't do that, but I don't do what you do. I don't take a portion of what we do and educate someone. I have to think about how to incorporate that into my life because you've inspired me for that. I think that it's a great thing that you're doing. I love it. I love your demeanor as well. I love the whole how you've incorporated this whole Buddhist philosophy into your business and into your life and into the way you've done business and the culture of the company. And I think you wind up being successful because now you've got a purpose in life rather than just running a business.
No, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. And like if you look at all the rich people, they become they go into philanthropy. after a certain level because they acquire, trying to be happy, trying to fulfill, thinking that this is going to fulfill me. I'm going to get this many houses, this many, I don't know, cars, this many jets. And then finally they think, none of this is going to make me happy. What makes me happy is giving back. Now they go back to that. So that's probably what's happened to most of the richest people are giving back more than anyone else.
I think there's multiple ways of doing it. There's people who actually take an active role in um, giving back. So in other words, they I think there's a difference. There are the people that go to these dinners, $1,000 a plate, $2,000 a plate dinners to raise money for a charity, and they feel that that's philanthropy. Or you have the people like I talked about before, like Joe Rothley, who actually goes down, takes his money, brings the team, pays all the people, and builds houses and for people. I think that that's to me that's philanthropy. Putting your name, donating, not that it's not important, but donating, $200 million to a hospital, and so you can put your name on it. That's some philanthropy, and I'm sure that that money hopefully goes to research that saves lives, but you never know. But I like people who actually go and do things, build houses, and take an active role like what you're doing, and making sure that somebody gets educated. So um, so you're doing a lot of work on social media. We do a lot of work on social media, but in a different way. We're focused more on like social selling, right? Because we deal with product companies, we deal with consumer product companies primarily. So we're focused on trying. We came up through. I founded a skincare business, and we launched it on the shopping channel HSN, and then we were all around in multiple ones in Canada and some others. And so that sort of using video to sell, that whole process is very easy for us because we understand it. Same thing with like doing television advertising or connected TV advertising, and coming up with a script and a video to sell product. So we use do a lot of that on social media for our clients, but that's a little bit different than what you're doing. Um, I don't know. Do you do any of that while you're for your clients? So in other words, using a video to sell a coaching program, or
We do have funnels where most of the time our call to action is booking a call with the client because most of my clients have high tickets. So anything above $3,000, we call it a high ticket. So it's what we understood is it's easier to sell a higher ticket on a call rather than on a funnel. So what we
sure,
do is we get them onto a funnel by giving a lead magnet or something, getting their attention first, asking the right questions, and then on the landing page or the funnel, we direct them to take the next action, which is a book a call most of the time, or we even ask them directly, messaging them when we are communicating. So most of my clients find clients by building trust through organic ways. So
right?
we communicate a lot. So that's why we take a lot of time. So we spend about 4 hours per day, minimum 6 days a week on our clients' platforms just to build this trust, communicating with them, connecting with them, asking the right questions before we try to even pitch anything or sell anything. So that's how we most of the time we sell. We never go. We don't even have any products, to be honest. It's all service based. We have some companies where they are all service based as well, like electrical services. It's still services. Yeah.
Yeah, but I talk to people because I do some coaching, and I do speak at events, and I tell people, even if you're a coach, you have to you have to productize what you sell, because you're selling a product, whether it's a service product or a SaaS business or a physical product. It's still a product. And so what you want to do is you want to create a brand around that product. You want to create why is it different, right? Because um, people want to understand why I should buy you. Why should I buy your coaching services versus somebody else's? Like when I when people come to me, it's because uh, I've actually run businesses, right? I my focus on coaching is entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, startup entrepreneurs, guys that are doing under say $10 million that want to get to 20 million or 30 million or 100 million, and so they come to me because what makes me different is I've actually run businesses, I've actually gotten there, right? I've founded 10 businesses, only 4 were successful, but I've done it and I've made a lot of mistakes, so I know how to keep you out of trouble. By I can tell you all the things not to do. So, uh, but there's a lot of coaches out there that I think struggle with explaining why they're different, right? Certainly, you have some that are spiritual, some that are focused on mental health or physical health and things like that. But there's a lot that sit in that gray area that struggle with why are we different. And I think once you figure out why, then you can communicate and build trust with your prospective customer, right? Or your prospect.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. So this is something that we do with most businesses, but that's one reason why I said I like to work with clients who have a working offer that's been tested. They have clients, but otherwise we have to go through all this clarity. Where what's your unique selling point? Who are your ideal clients? And they're like, I want to serve everyone.
Yeah, yeah,
That's yeah.
yeah. People think that all the time. We had a shaving business, and I had a shaving business a number of years ago, and you know, yes, you could make the argument that everybody shaves, right? But in the reality of it, when you looked at the shaving market, you're not going to convert. Like we had a razor, a blade razor, right? For men, one for women. But the guys that are over 55, you're not going to convert them. So, maybe you'll get some of them to buy your product, but why focus on trying to market to them? Because you're not going to convert them. Those guys have been using the same razor that they're using for 50 years. You're not going to convert them, right? Some of them will come over. So your core, the guys that are 18 to 25, they don't care about shaving yet. They're still in college. They don't care about a scruffy look. But that 25 to 45-year old, that's your target market, right? And I used to explain it to people all the time. They'd say, well, you could probably market to everybody. How do you market to everybody? You can't market to everybody. You have to go for the cream of the crop, the ones that are easy to convert, because 25 to 45-year old in the shaving business, those guys will try a new razor very easily, right? So I love that when people say, well, we sell to everybody. We're a snack food company. Everybody wants snack food. Yeah, it's true. Everybody wants snack foods, but you know, there's a segment of the population that is not going to be easy to convert. And there's a segment that will be easy to convert. So that's how I always answer that to people. You always have to have a sweet spot, because if you don't have that sweet spot, then you don't know who your customer is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I would imagine with with some coaches it's a bit difficult, but yeah, it's we don't market in that world just because it's too it just doesn't fit into what we know. Like I've been focused on consumers my entire life. I was in retail for a while. I owned some stores, and so I understand consumers. I understand how consumers think. So I can sell you a product or a SaaS product, right? Software product. Very difficult for me to sell you like electrical services or coaching services, because I don't understand that consumer so well. I don't understand what they're looking for. I do know what, Mary Jane wants in her house and how she wants to buy snack food for her kids, or, things like that, right? It's a big difference.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But we what we try to do is we try to focus on one pain point
Yeah.
rather than trying to talk to uh, a lot of pain points. So
Right.
one pain point, one answer, and then create the unique selling point around it, so it becomes easier. So that's why sometimes we need to spend time with these coaches, if you like, uh, who are trying to sell to everyone. So we say no, speak to one person. Who is your one person? So we come up with an avatar. You have to have a name. So we have a specific way of putting things together. So my wife works on all these to make sure that they understand. Once they understand that one person, it becomes so much easier because you're speaking to that one person, and there are so many of them out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah,
Yeah, we do the same thing. We build a customer persona, and
right,
you say this is who you're talking to. You give them a name, or he or she a name, and then in a lot of cases, what we encourage young companies to do is to actually get a image and put it up in their offices, life size, so that when people walk in, they know. And I'll tell you, I learned that from Home Shopping Network back in 30 years ago when we were doing business on there, because they always spoke, the leadership there always spoke in terms of she, and they knew exactly who she was, and they had her everywhere in the building because their primary customer was a woman who was between these certain ages, and they gave her a name, and I can't remember the name, but that's who they always spoke about, is she wants this, blah blah blah. And it was so embedded in the culture that that's how they thought, and it was highly effective because you're not going to sell. People had a very strange idea about the home shopping channels. They think that it's Midwestern people that don't have access to goods and services, but it's really not. It's people in urban areas. It's all over the country, highly effective, but it is a very specific demographic, and I love that business because you're actually, even though you're on camera, you're when you watch the hosts, they're talking to that person as if that person was in front of them versus a camera. You know what I'm saying? And so
right.
we take that same approach with doing online or video selling, social selling, because you have to treat it like I'm talking to you, right? So the same thing that you're doing, which is essentially building a persona and saying, now I can speak to, now I'm selling my coaching services to this person.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. Well, we're running up on the end of this. So, how do people get in touch with you? What's your? We'll put all the information in the description of the show, but just tell people, how do they get in touch with you? Your website. If they're interested in coaching services, because most of your clients, I believe you told me, are in the United States. Even though you're in the UK, you've got a tremendous amount of clients in the United States and Canada and places like that. So. Um, how would they get in
Um,
touch with you?
so CT.Marketing is my website, and you have all the details on the website itself. My books are on Amazon, 7 Day Blueprint, How to Get Clients Fast, and also Entrepreneur. If you search on Amazon, you will find my book. But yeah, if anyone is interested in a free landing page, you're more than welcome to book a call with me. And for anyone who books a call with me, they get a free landing page. I think we've done five. We've given away free landing pages, 500 landing pages recently. So
Wow.
we are just giving away things. The reason why we do that is that's probably the first thing they get. Once they get something, they get to a certain level, that's when they can maybe probably want to work with us. Initial period, they want to spend all their time is not as valuable, they don't feel like it's valuable, they try to do everything by themselves. So we sometimes we let them do it by themselves to find out, okay, it's not worth doing it that way. And then they need our services. That's when it's best for us and best for them. So yeah, feel free to book a call. It's there's no charge. I'll give so much value on the call, even if whether you work with me or not. I've done that all the time, and it's only done good for me and good for them. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. You got to give a lot of value in this world today. Well, folks, we're running out of time. Like I said, uh, uh, we'll have Chaminda's information all in the description of the show, and all the links to his website and to his books. And again, I have to buy the Montrepreneur. I'm just fascinated by the name, so I want to read that book and I want to understand it a little bit because I just think it's a great name for a book.
Thank you.
So, and thanks for coming on, and we'll see everybody